Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into a story about a team meeting that went, well, completely off the rails, but in the best way possible. It's all about how they accidentally uncover these hidden talents that totally reshaped how they work together. And it all started with a deep dive conversation that nobody saw coming. So where did this all start? Well, it kicked off with just one single moment of frustration. The team was in a meeting, trying to map out who was good at what, when one person just felt completely sidelined, totally stuck. And his decision to finally say something, well, that changed everything. And this was it. This was the moment. Chris, a guy on the team who felt totally boxed into his admin role, just blurts this out. And this wasn't just some random complaint, This was the spark. This was the thing that lit the fuse on this powerful, game-changing conversation about what really gets people fired up at work. Okay, so let's set the scene. The team's in this meeting, right? They're trying to figure out their strengths. And that's when Chris finally speaks up. He admits that he feels like he always has to bite his lip and just stay in his lane, far away from where the real action is.
You see, in his head, his job was all about the numbers and the admin stuff. But what he really wanted to do was get in there and rally the team, get people excited, keep the energy up. He just felt like, hey, that's not my job. I can't step on anyone's toes.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The leader's reaction. Instead of saying, hey, Chris, get back in your box, he sees this amazing opportunity. He immediately validates that passion and basically gives it a job title right there on the spot. And that single moment, that little bit of validation, that was the breakthrough. It was the first step toward creating this brand new, totally unofficial role for Chris, built completely around what he was naturally passionate about. So get this. After a break, Chris just walks up to the whiteboard, erases the kind of messy diagram they had, and redraws it all neat and clean. He literally takes the pen and takes charge. And from there, the team starts filling it in, starting with his newfound talent. Turns out, Chris thought Chief Exhorting Officer was a little too close to CEO for comfort. So the team came up with a better word, galvanizing. It was the perfect description for the energy he brought to the table. And just like that, he became the new Chief Galvanizing Officer. Okay, so they've got one piece of the puzzle, but that just leads to the next question in their deep dive, right? Once an idea is galvanized and everyone's all fired up, how does the work actually, start? So when someone suggested helping or volunteering as the next skill, another team member, Quinn, she was pretty skeptical. To her, it just sounded kind of weak, not really a special talent or a genius. But Chris, feeling empowered in his new role, he jumps right in to defend the idea. He makes this passionate case for the people who are always the first to raise their hand, offer help, and basically make it possible for everyone else to do their work. And as they talked it through, they realized this wasn't about just passively helping out. No, it was an active talent. It's about responding to a need and enabling success. It's that person you always want on your team because you know they'll make things happen. And they saw this strength in two people, Jasper and Quinn. So they gave it a name. Their second genius was enablement. They recognized it as the secret weapon that makes great teamwork even possible, that key ingredient to get any new idea off the ground. But hold on, because this deep dive conversation wasn't over yet. Just when they thought they had it all figured out, the leader made this kind of controversial point that led to one last, really critical discovery. The leader just says it flat out, enablers aren't finishers. Whoa, that was a challenge, right? He was suggesting that there is a huge difference between the energy it takes to help start something and a totally different kind of energy to see it all the way to the end. And bam, that's when it clicked for Quinn. In this incredible moment of honesty, she just admits it. She loves helping people, she loves enabling their success, but that last little stretch of a project, that final grind, she just completely runs out of steam. And this just lays out the distinction perfectly, doesn't it? Enablement is all about responding to a need and helping get things going. Tenacity, that's about wrestling the project across the finish line. It's about pushing and keeping the standards high no matter what gets in the way. So with that new clarity, they defined their third genius, tenacity. And the team could see that both Jasper and Chris had this relentless drive to actually finish what they started, to make sure great ideas didn't just die on the vine. Now, Jasper's little comment to Quinn here, it might sound harsh, but it wasn't an insult. It was actually a sign. It showed just how much psychological safety this deep conversation had built. They could be completely honest about their strengths and their weaknesses without anyone getting offended. Okay, so let's just step back for a second. What did this team actually do here? Let's look at the incredible power of the process they just stumbled their way through. I mean, just look at this flow. A frustration gets voiced, the team actually listens and validates it. Then they debate it, they define it, they create a new role, and when they do it all over again. This wasn't just slapping labels on people. They completely re-engineered their team around what actually energized them. And that right there is the real takeaway. It isn't just about the words galvanizing or enablement or tenacity. The true genius here was the deep dive conversation itself, that messy, honest process of listening and debating that let all these hidden talents finally come out. You know, this story is such a perfect illustration that the most valuable assets you have, the real genius in your organization, it might be hiding in plain sight. It's often just one good, honest, deep dive conversation away from being discovered. So the only question is, are you willing to have it?